Okay, this is definitely going to be a Patreon video and a day that we are always going to call New Toy Tuesday. It's actually Thursday. Sounds better though. New Toy Tuesday. And why it's echoey? Well, for reasons that are going to come clear very soon, this is my kitchen and the acoustics are pretty horrible in here because everything echoes. But we're going to see if we can make this work. And where I say it's new toys, well, firstly, you're being recorded on this. Now, is this a smart idea to do two things in one video? Absolutely not. But I need to figure out this camera to be used for YouTube videos. And the reason I've chosen it is because it has the gimbal function, which means I can do something a little bit more dynamic. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. What I'm here to talk to you about is this. And bear with. This is my new Bambu Lab printer, and 3D printer that is. And the reason we're in the kitchen is because I don't have any internet down in my workshop. So I've got to set it up here in the house, and I haven't got a table big enough in my office where it's going to live eventually. So we've got to make this work. At the moment, this is what we've got. Just a box with a 3D printer in it. I promise you I have not gone into the box. In fact, let me just see if I can figure out this gimbal thing. You can still see everything in here is still wrapped. All I've done is cut the box. That's it. So, what we have to figure out is whether it's possible for an idiot like me to make this work. So, hopefully you don't mind the rubbish sound while I try and get this done. Give me a sec, I'm going to get this thing unpacked. First impressions. I've got it out of the box. Let me take you over to it because I am really impressed with, and this is just for you guys, just for Patrons. I am really impressed with how this is packaged, and a confidence building small manual. There's only about, I don't know, 30 pages to that, so I should only be here for about 6 hours, probably. Let me just take this out. Oh, yep. That's really smooth. Yeah, that was important. It was the screen. Let's power this thing on. Switch at the back. Okay. Oh, should I have taken off that label? Okay, so we've just had what amounts to about half an hour of idiot error. That's me. Basically, I had left a tiny chunk of polystyrene in the top here. And so when this was calibrating, it couldn't move right up to the top and it was shouting error, error at me. So now it's calibrating and that's going to take around about 20 minutes. I think it says noise calibration about 15 minutes. We're going to see. And then I think we get to give it a shot. Now, I've got 3 types of filament and I got PLA, PLA-CF, and I've got PETG. I've just done a very quick search. PLA is basic, beginner, cheap, but can be affected by heat. PETG is stiffer, more brittle, better for heat resistance, whereas PLA-CF is carbon fibre reinforced, I believe. So that's stronger, but can be a bit brittle and needs a specific nozzle and heat bed to work. All of that I've just taken off the internet and a quick chat with Pete Millard yesterday. None of that is my knowledge. So once this is set up, I'm going to try a test. I will say I'm going to go back down the workshop and finish this video with a quick chat, and then you'll see this in a proper YouTube video. So I'm going to give it an initial test. It's not going to live in my kitchen, though it can't live in my workshop and it can't live in my office right now. So I have to find somewhere for it to live. last bit before we head down the workshop, I promise, I have to do a test of this. So, what do we want? A boat, a dinosaur, a badge? I really want a 3D printed boat, but everyone seems to do it. Yep. Now, am I allowed to take this off the bed yet, or is it hot? Oh, do you know what? I feel like I've got to take it. Ha! After, hour and a half, 2 hours, we've got the first 3D print. I'm going to brand New Tool Tuesday, so far a roaring success, because I've got my first ever 3D print. And I know there are thousands of people that have printed this 3D boaty, whatever it's called, out. Every single unboxing you see of a 3D Bambu Lab printer has got one of these starting it. But for me, for someone who this morning went from box to boat in about 2 hours, I'm feeling pretty good about that. And that's only because this is symbolic of something that is the furthest away from my comfort zone out of anything that I've tried. And I will say this. One thing that sticks with me after that entire process this morning of setting up the 3D printer is something that stuck with me with the Xtool laser that I got. It's just so well thought out, the first bit. And the first bit is basically what dictates how you feel about the whole thing. That all felt really well thought out to me. And the whole putting it together process, absolutely seamless. And I hate instructions. But to have little arrows pointing to the screws you need to take out. Had that with the Xtool, there was probably about 20 that needed to come out, and I would never have seen them because they're tiny. And so that was a lovely process. Now, I'm not here to sell a Bambu Lab printer. I know that I've been gifted it, so it's hard to say that, but certainly wouldn't try and do that to Patreon members because that's just stupid. So no links, no nothing. It's just a case of you get to see what I'm going through trying to get this set up. And bear in mind, I've got 7 days to get a video concept across to Bambu Lab, followed by 14 days to then make the video, followed by another week to do final edits after they've had a look and torn it apart or not. So that's only a week and a half longer than my normal video production cycle, if you like. So if it's taken me 2 hours to set it up, it's going to take me an hour to print anything that I prototype. That has to be factored in. And I was patting myself on the back, and then I had a thought. Yes, I've set it up. Yes, I've printed a preloaded, pre-sliced boat. I've got to learn 3D modeling and get the slicing software and figure out the nuances of that and get that all set up. So I have a long journey ahead, but I'm not going to do that this afternoon because I want to box up everything that I've just done and say, take that win unexpectedly, draw a line under it, come back tomorrow, see where you're at, and then try the software. Because I know for a fact after trying SketchUp, after trying Fusion 360 or Fusion as they call it now, and both of them breaking me, I know that Shaper 3D is apparently easier. Again, I'm taking my advice from Peter Millard on this because I feel like we're quite similar going into this. And so I'm hoping it's going to be smoother than it could be. Anyway, so that's where we are with the 3D printer. And yes, the next video you see that in is going to be the video that they've paid for with the printer. So I have to think of a clever way, and I like what people like, in a way I like what Morley Kurt does and I like what the Swedish Maker do, but I think they are very printer heavy. I need to think of a way that I can do a video where it's not all at the printer, because I know that the laser had huge amounts of kickback about 3 laser videos. Now, bearing in mind, I was very naive back then and I gave 3 videos up for a laser, and I have pushed back to only being 1 for the Bambu Lab printer. So it is only 1. And then after that, it's a tool that I have at my disposal for whatever I decide to use it for. But that first one is going to have to be designed for Bambu Lab, if you like. So I'm hoping people don't, I'm really hoping people don't mind. I need to think of ways this laser is going to benefit this workshop for that video without me having to absolutely tear my eyeballs out trying to figure out 3D software to the extent that it's too much. So something simple, but not something that's been done. And for that, I might come back to you and ask some ideas on some tool things, because this is what I was thinking. Here's my initial thoughts, and you can give me a little bit of feedback on it. I'm sure you've all seen the videos where I've done my own homemade tools and jigs. So you've got these, the ones that I remember top of my head. You've got the bench cookies, you've got these, which are the razors for the clamps, and then, oh, my push wand. This. Things like that are my starting point in my head of what I could try and use the 3D printer for. For instance, this could be 3D printed in this section with a dowel. So if you do damage it, pushing things away from the blade, you replace the dowel, you don't have to buy the entire tool. This raisable planing stop at the end of the bench, right? I planed it too hard, and because the grain on this, I think it's olive wood, is very wavy, I thought the grain was that way, so it would be strong across and I wouldn't snap it off. It snapped off. It's still usable because I made it symmetrical. So it's still usable, but this out of strong filament, I'm thinking something like this with some reinforcement behind it that you can raise up from your bench. And then on top of that, where I've struggled to plane, or where I've found difficulties planing, is a long thin strip. So imagine this is flat, you butt this up against it, and then start planing. Now this starts waggling. I wonder if you could put some sort of attachments on the inside that would support what you're working on. That was an idea that I sort of, I don't know, came up with randomly. That's the 3D printer. So that's the next video. So if you've got any ideas, and you guys have watched my videos, some of the homemade tools, or if you've got a problem in your workshop that needs a solution that isn't going to be beyond me, fire it across. Now, I don't normally do this, but I did want to show you this because the veneer video, I believe, has just gone out, the Patreon. I wanted to just show you where those are going to end up. I've just taken these future jewellery boxes out of clamps, so you can have a quick look at that. This will probably be a video you may never see, which is a shame. A lot of work is going to this, more than any other video I've ever done, ever. And it will all become very clear down the line, but you may never see it. Sounds cryptic, I'm really sorry. I'm making a series of these jewellery boxes. So this is the Sapele, and I'm calling it Zebra Wood, Zebrano I think it is, which has come up really nice, and it's a nice contrast. I took the burl and I put it in with white oak because I thought this dark burl with a Sapele next to it, I thought there wouldn't be enough contrast there. Meh. But I'm showing different techniques. So this is a rebate box, that one's a mitre box, and there's a hell of a lot more work to go into these, but they're coming together. So that's a future project. As I say, you probably won't see it, but I'm going to show you snippets of it as we go along because it is dominating my time. I'm going to spend this afternoon on it because I've got the terrible, terrible, stressful job of cutting the lids off these, and that always worries me. Possibly, is there a worse job in small build woodworking than cutting the lid off a box? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Most stressful ever. Anyway, let's finish up New Tool Tuesday. And yes, it's still Thursday. If you film anything and you want to do talking in front of the camera, this is the Rode Go 2 mic, and this is the DJI mic. Now, I've had this DJI mic for about 10 minutes and it is 10 times more user-friendly than this. And I'm only going to give you one snippet of why. This has a power button you have to hold for about 6 or 7 seconds. This is instant. This only has a clip, doesn't have anything else. This has a clip, but it also has a little magnet that can go under your t-shirt and clip it there. The reason I say that this is an absolute pain in the bum like this is because it's way too close up here. Getting the sound right is really hard, but also it wrecks your t-shirt tops, and unless you're wearing a shirt, it's just not in the right place. So if you are going down this route, DJI mic, amazing. And if you're looking at filming anything, I'm hoping you're going to see this in future videos because it gives me the opportunity to lock my face onto it and it can follow me, and the gimbal head will actually follow me. So I'll be able to get a little bit of walking around the workshop, albeit not very big, but it just makes the videos a little bit more interactive, a little bit more, well, I'm hoping anyway. And I can do a bit of filming outside where I can walk and talk and show you more behind the scenes, because this has been bought purely for 2 things. One, B-roll. So B-roll is what you film of a piece that will go on top of what I'm talking about. So because it's such a smooth pan, there's none of this that you get from what I do now. But mainly it's going to be me talking to you when I'm going to the workshop, when I'm going to the timber yard, when I'm going to something exciting. And it's tiny. It's just incredible. So I'm looking forward to using that. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you in advance for any advice you give me on the 3D printer. I will take any bit of advice, anything that you've stumbled over, anything that you've learnt from, anything. I'll keep you updated on the boxes. I'll show you that video when it's ready. There's another video coming out that you will probably already have seen before this one. I hope you like it. It's a long one. Whatever you're doing this weekend, today is Thursday, so whatever you're doing this weekend or next weekend or whenever this comes out, enjoy it, enjoy what you're making, stay safe, and thank you so much for coming along this little journey with me. Catch you in a bit. Cheers.